Welcome to the Forank Marketing Podcast, where we discuss everything about marketing, SEO and PPC. Enjoy. Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Forank Marketing Podcast. My name is Lee Buttry. I'm a PPC specialist and one half of Forank, and today I'm joined by Zoe Ashbridge, our SEO expert. Today's episode is all about how AI is shaping marketing, what's actually changing versus just noise, how we're using AI across SEO and PPC day to day, and where it's genuinely helping. Hey Zoe, how are you?
I'm good, thank you, Lee. And how are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. What's new?
Well, do you know what is new? Personally, I haven't made carpets fitted today. Very excited about that because that'll be 2 bedrooms done in the renovation almost. Well, pretty much done, other than like accessories and stuff. So that's good. And had a good day yesterday. The day before, I was up in Liverpool doing the Mersey Search event. That was really fun.
Oh,
I was on the panel for personal branding.
how did it go?
Yeah, it was really good. That was my first panel. I've not done a panel before, or like a talk. So that was my first one, and it was really, it's really nice. It's like quite I would say intimate event, like quite small, but like lovely room, lovely people attended. Yeah, it was really good. Thoroughly enjoyed.
Amazing. Would you do it again?
Yeah, definitely.
Is it going to be recorded? Or is it recorded?
No, not that I was aware of. I don't think so. I'm pretty sure it wasn't, no.
Oh, I'd like to see that. That was really interesting. Was there many people there?
I reckon, I'm not really sure. I didn't do a head count. I reckon maybe 25, 30 maybe.
Oh, nice. Intimate then, yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah, it was small, but it was really, really nice though. Yeah. I'm not even sure the capacity. I didn't even look. Didn't do a head count.
Good though. Nice. What's been going on in my life? I've had the living room redone. Another room off the tick list. I think there's only 2 more rooms left to do in the house, and I'm going to be happy with it. So
yeah,
exciting.
Nice. What's left? Oh, the bathroom.
The bathroom, this office, but it needs replastering. Oh, and then the hallway, but that just seems painful.
Yeah, you don't spend much time in there, do you?
No. Every time I look at it, I'm like, oh, forgot about that.
Just get him to just bolt it on to the office. Just do that while they're there.
I do actually.
That's how I did mine.
I just don't live in a big house, so it's moving furniture and stuff for it to be done is really painful.
Yeah, I know what you mean. We just had to move everything, 2 bedrooms, into 2 other bedrooms basically, but it's rammed. Both those rooms are absolutely rammed. Actually, in fact, half of a divan bed is in the bathroom right now.
Yeah, it's not fun, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So I'm really excited about this episode though, Zoe.
Same. I've been excited about this since we talked about doing it a month or 2 ago. I think it's going to be a good one.
All right then, let's get into it.
Cool. So this is one of my favourite AI stats at the minute. I think it's really interesting. I think it shows how buyer behaviour is changing. So these stats come from a report called Inside the Buyer's Mind by Responsive, and basically tells us about 1/3 of people are using AI first. So before they get to Google, before they get to websites, they go into AI to find vendors. This is specifically for B2B. And 33% of people start their searches with a traditional web search, 33% use word of mouth, and then 32% are using generative AI.
Wow.
When you think about it though, that means 65% of people go into something like Google, if you consider AI overviews in there as well. So Google's still massively important, as we know. What I find even more interesting is that if you're in technology or SaaS, you are even more kind of susceptible to the impact of AI, because 56%, so the majority of buyers looking for technology and SaaS, are heading to generative AI first. I just think that's so interesting.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I think for search and SEO in particular, lots of people perhaps don't really value AI because it's top of funnel and visibility without clicks, which we'll get into how that isn't exactly true later. But if you don't get that visibility in the first stage of search, when someone's making their shortlist of vendors, you're not even in the race because they've not seen your brand in AI. So it is really important to be in there.
It's staggering actually, because when we did, I think, our one of our first ever episodes about AI, this stat really wasn't like, it's how quick it's grown is incredible. Like, I'm talking like probably a year, maybe less than a year.
Yeah, it is really interesting. And I think like, I don't know, it's all, to me, like we're starting to understand it more. It's all becoming a bit more like purposeful, and I don't know, like we understand the intent and how people are using it and stuff like that. So yeah, it is really interesting.
Amazing. I think just moving on though, like I think we need to talk about how AI is changing the idea of like scaling for businesses. So would say it's made it very easy to scale, with marketing activity, more content, more ads, more keywords, more reach. But I think on a paid media side, I do think this is like kind of where we're potentially going a little bit wrong. And if you're not careful, there's quite a lot of bit of shoddy AI driven advice out there, which are pushing like teams to publish at volume, chase every possible keyword and broaden targeting as far as the platforms will allow. And I guess on the surface, this looks really good because you're reaching this massive people, but what it's not doing, it's diluting all your signals because Meta are now very much heavy on what they call broad advantage targeting. That always, in my experience recently, has always outshone campaigns that are really tightened down in demographics. I feel like that's kind of a platform shift that they're purposefully doing that, getting you to spend more, the results look more impressive on the surface level, but like bringing it back, what it's doing is it's forcing you now to have to up your game with creatives, up your game with messaging. So we've got this kind of shift in like churn with marketers. Like, previously you'd probably change ads, once every 2 months, depending on the volume. And now it's kind of, you've got to be pushing out 5 and changing them every couple of weeks. And it's getting quite laborious, but I don't think we're seeing really the true impact of what's happening because these platforms are kind of overinflating it because we've got these broad audiences. And then what that kind of does is it dilutes signals to your website, which then can affect other things such as remarketing, etc. So that's kind of like what I'm seeing.
Can you not control that? Can you not minimize that, like the broad audiences?
You can, but what we're seeing, like normally I'd do like a test. So like we would set up what we think is our demographic. Okay, let's do, I'm going to just do a skincare brand for the sake of ease of this topic now. You would think you'd normally go in, you'd probably go, okay, women between the ages of this and this, depending on what the product is. Then put in their interest in beauty. Now, you'd set up that and then you'd set up a broad advantage plus audience. So you've got 2 different ad sets running and always the broad advantage plus seems to outperform impressions, reach, click-through rate, which is fine. But sometimes we're not seeing that scale in terms of like conversions and things. Or the alternative, you're seeing the conversions, but the attribution's getting lost because we don't know where it's coming from because you've got such this broad audience. You can't like tie it down to like, so you don't know what the age group is, where they are, etc. So that's what we're finding a little bit more difficult. Yeah. So what's happening like on the organic side with AI and the idea of scaling?
What's happening with scale is, you can scale content faster than ever, which done well is not such a bad thing if you've got the resources to kind of take over it and edit it and stuff and get good content. Obviously, we still need to have good EEAT signals. We still need to be creating content that's good for the user. Like Google's always going to be trying to refine its algorithm in a way that highlights this like high quality for the user content, whether it's AI written or not, doesn't matter as long as it's good and helpful. But obviously AI content isn't always that. And I think perhaps the biggest issue at the moment is that people are using AI even to like outline their strategy and then just churning out the strategy with AI and then just publishing stuff. And I'm sure some people are like editing and having that kind of like normal workflow in to check and quality assure content. But I think many aren't. So like transparently, I've just lost an SEO client recently, left on really good terms, been working together for 2.5 years. Previous to me, they were churning out content for keywords and clicks. Obviously, that had a negative impact in the end. I think it had a negative impact, actually. They kept the content on the website. I think it was weighing the site down and not helping it at all. I think it was diluting what it was about, etc. So I pushed them into our normal kind of SEO, like services. But they've decided to go back at this kind of like keyword strategy because they're using like AI to like harvest harvest hundreds of thousands of keywords and then creating content that is like, I mean, in my opinion, like vaguely related to the subject. So I don't really want to go into the details there. And I think it's a real problem. And I think it's just SEO has always had this kind of like, I don't want to say scammy, but like scammy ways of working, I guess. It's not new. And we're just kind of resorting back to it. And it's a shame, in my opinion, but I just also don't think it's going to pay off anyone in the long run. But we'll see what happens. I think it's going to come back. And I mean, obviously, this particular site has suffered terribly through algorithm updates, each one, massive drops. And not even drops in position. So every time I would look at it, but the position is still like number 1, number 2 on page 1, but it's just hemorrhaging like impressions and clicks because the AI is doing that work for it. And that's just what's going to keep happening if people keep like churning out this content. So I think it just needs to be like strategic, like anything really, because like I just said at the start of this with the quote, you need to be in the AI overviews for like visibility early doors. Otherwise you're not even in the running to get like an inquiry. But there's no point writing content for the sake of writing for every prompt. It needs to be the right prompts that actually might be someone looking for software. Looking for a product. I was thinking about this before.
But also, you can create content that has expanse over lots of different prompts, can't you? Like, you don't need to generate a piece of content. You could have like a piece of content that can show for multiple different prompts. You're not having to create content for each individual prompt, are you?
No. And I would probably stay away even from like trying to even think about prompts into some degree, because I think that you're not really going to be able to do that anymore. Like, because people just type in what they want now. They can type in like, war and peace about their problem if they want, like multi-paragraphs, multi-sentences, becomes a prompt, and then there's like follow-up prompts. So I think rather than prompting things, it's more about knowing your audience and their problems in a more, like a more like holistic way, I guess, and then creating content that serves them rather than trying to like meet prompts and keywords. I think we're way beyond prompts and keywords. They're still useful. Like, I'd still look at them, but yeah, I wouldn't be trying to almost have like a prompt strategy. I have like an audience strategy, if that makes sense. Yeah, and I suppose actually will lead us on nicely to the next point, which is like the value of having like a human in your content, which obviously if you're churning out this AI content and you don't have it, and I think you're kidding yourself if you think that AI writes as well as a human, because while it can write really well, I mean, I'm a writer and I use AI to write some content, like when it's very like binary, like, I don't know, what is SEO, what is email marketing, what is pay-per-click, like fine. Like that's so like, it's so definitional and binary. But if you want to get into like strategy or anything with any type of nuance, or you want to come across as a thought leader, then AI is not going to do it for you. Like actually at the event last night, there was a guy called Liam Quirk who did the keynote speaker, and he was saying like AI doesn't know like your experience, doesn't know the mistakes you made to get where you are. Like it doesn't know the hard conversations. It doesn't know anything about experience. It can't add really any value in that respect. And I think because this podcast was like our experience, this leads me on to like the point I was going to make about like LinkedIn, because I think it's impacting human communications. I think LinkedIn is getting really hit by AI at the minute. And I know I'm not alone in thinking about this because I've spoken to a few people about it. But, people are going to LinkedIn, they're writing posts with AI, and it reads like, you can tell an AI post, or I can tell an AI post from like a mile away, and it makes it hard to engage with, I think. And then the comments on it are AI comments. So it's just like this weird point where humans just like putting AI bots together to talk. And I mean, I used to really like LinkedIn and use it a lot, but the platform has it started to lose its appeal to me. And I have got a point to make it, guys, about being a human in this. So because I was losing reach, my comments were just like trash. I don't use AI to write my posts at all, really, maybe a little bit, but I would never copy and paste an AI thing into my LinkedIn. And I was finding that I was getting kind of janky comments back. And by like association of this crap comments, I was starting to look like spammy, in my opinion. So I was like just talking to, there's a community called Opt Out, which was called Mostly Marketing. That's run by Liam Fallon. And I was talking to him about like LinkedIn and how I'm getting a bit like in a rut with it. Then Liam posts loads of satire, like almost all of his LinkedIn is satire. That AI can't do satire at all. It can't make jokes. It doesn't respond well to jokes. It doesn't really understand it. So it can't like write a good joke back. So if you write like a satiric post, your AI comments will stand out by a mile because they just won't make sense. So he was talking about this, and his content gets loads of like genuine comments. And I was like, oh, that's so interesting. But I think it's because when you're writing satire, you are like certainly a human. And because you're definitely human, people comment because they know they're engaging with a human. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's interesting.
Whereas my posts, they weren't AI, but because they were like more like on the educational side of things, which has worked for me for like 5 years on LinkedIn really well, people weren't really engaging with them anymore because they were just lacking like a human element. So I was like, right, I'm going to change this up. And I'm not really like a satire person. Like I like to think I have moments where I'm funny, but it's certainly not something I put onto LinkedIn. It doesn't come supernatural to me like it would like someone like Liam. Because I'm going to take a leaf out of Liam's book. This isn't all my ideas. This is a lot from this conversation I had with Liam, and he kind of steered me a lot. So I started to tweak my posts a bit more recently to do more like storytelling. So I'm still like weaving the SEO stuff in, still weaving the marketing stuff in, but maybe I'm talking a bit more again about my cycle adventure, talking a bit more like we posted about Stu and this bike ride that he done recently, and like still tying it back to business. And I wanted to share the results. I think this is really significant. Now, obviously, this is like social media, but I think this is probably like transferable to all of your content. Like if you are writing just with AI, expect your metrics to tank, because here's what's happened on my LinkedIn within the last 2 weeks. So I had like 143% increase in impressions, which is pretty significant, 96.2% increase in engagement, a 1.3% increase in followers. And then what's even better is, and this goes back to being like targeted again and like finding your right audience rather than trying to please everyone, is that the analytics are showing that the posts hit in the US and the UK more than like other places. And that is where we do like predominantly all of our work, UK, US clients, sometimes other places as well, obviously, but that's really where my ICP lives. So if I want to get leads and conversions from LinkedIn, which of course I do, I need my content to be showing up in the US and the UK. So yeah, the takeaway of that very long bit, which is a bit of a sidestep from SEO marketing, but I do think it's really important and transferable, is if you're going to be using AI, churning out slop and not editing it, expect your metrics to drop as mine did. Pull your finger out and write some better content that targets people with storytelling and brand narrative. Your content will perform better. And that's been tried and tested in the last 2 weeks.
I love that, mate. I think... yeah, you just hit this kind of the nail on the head with the humor side. Like it's something I've never really thought about.
Same.
I think that's transferable across everything we're doing, right?
Yeah, I think so. Like, and it doesn't have to be like humor. I mean, I do think it's really effective though. Like if you look at Liam Vallen's LinkedIn, you'll see how people gravitate to it and like it. But like, yeah, storytelling, brand narrative, real life experiences, that are a bit more like human. Like it doesn't have to be like stuffy and just work related. It can be, a bit more fun and stuff. But yeah, it's interesting. And the fact of like how you said like the AI comments will stand out because AI just can't do humor. It just doesn't get it. It's interesting, isn't it?
It's so interesting. I feel like AI at the moment for PPC is just heavily on like kind of automation as such.
Yeah.
Which I find is I'm kind of getting a little bit stressed with it, if I'm honest, because it feels very not hands off. That's not the right word, but I feel I'm very much at the mercy of these tools at the moment. Google has their own, AI within that. Meta's got its own thing. You can now create creatives in there. It will do all of your ad copy, but it's very easily, like you said, very easily identifiable what has been churned out by AI. What I'm finding very difficult as well is that it's this kind of constant churn of creatives and messaging. I'm going to talk mainly on Meta at the moment, just because there's no real reporting to understand which ad headline and which ad description matches which creative and which is pushing it out. You can see it on a creative level, but you can't see that breakdown of messaging, which becomes really significant when you've got these large audiences that wanting you to target. you are then trying to, it's kind of really pushes you into putting like 5 or 6 variations. And it does this thing called buyer personas now. So it'll change the ad copy based off what it thinks your buyer persona is.
God.
It's insane. And it doesn't give you that breakdown then of saying, okay, well, which one of these buyer personas preferred this ad headline to this? You know, you don't have that granularity, which I'm finding really difficult, because when someone says to me, oh, why is this creative doing so well? I'm like, well, maybe it's a good creative, but I actually don't know if it's the messaging that's gone well with it or who the audience is that gives that granularity anymore. And that's what I'm kind of really struggling. And it's kind of getting where it's like, you're told to do this fast churn of ads copy, but you're never really actually getting into what's working. And that's what's frustrating me at the moment. And that's what I think I'm pulling away from a little bit. Right, I went off a little bit of a tangent.
No, it makes complete sense. I think it's almost like that you're getting almost like, well, the human is not getting the information they need to make good decisions. And it's almost like the AI, like you're going to assume that the AI is going to make the best decision based on the data it's receiving, but it's not sharing the data with the marketer, which is really annoying because if you know what messages are working with ads, like maybe we would try the same message on the landing page or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's exactly that. Google, not so much. I'm mainly talking about Meta at the moment. But
Meta.
But what then happens, and I'll get onto this, what it's actually optimized, and what I then find difficult is because then it's showing you that performance is great because you've got a really good click-through rate, you've got all these impressions, all this reach, but it's like, but that doesn't mean anything unless I've got decent conversions. And then you come into the next issue. It's like, okay, well, what does that lead quality look like? You know, especially if we're talking about leads, but, you know, what does the conversion, can we get a better cost per acquisition if we just knew what was working? So you're just then feeding this absolute monster, just money, and you're churning out these ads, and it's getting quite expensive, especially for, you know, people working with agencies as a design team. It's getting very expensive for them to keep up with the constant need for new creatives. Yes, we have things like Midjourney, Runway, and Kive, which make it possible to kind of produce creatives, but what you're then going to see is everyone's then using the same thing, and it becomes very obvious on ads what has been used by AI and what's been created.
Yeah, so obvious.
I saw this fun LinkedIn post someone put up. I'll need to find it and quote it, but he put up like about 12 images of all these village fates and summer fairs.
Yeah, I saw it. It was really good.
And it was so funny, but I was like, it's so true. And I think we're just, as people, we're now absorbing content. We're not really taking it in. We're not even absorbing it. We're just looking at it, actually.
Yeah.
And then everyone just looks the same. So how do you then stand out? So I do think AI is great. It's great for ideation. It's great for ideas and things. And it's great for helping you write copy to some extent, again, with the humanized thing. But I think we need to just strip it back and be like, is this really hitting our audience and who we want on the website? Because if we're not thinking at that stage, it's just going to slop and you're just going to waste money, basically.
Yeah. So can it just can it just create a new headline for your content? So it could create an off-brand headline and you wouldn't know.
Correct. And I'm finding this at the moment. They keep constantly updating Meta more specifically, but they keep constantly updating the thing. And I'll have a client go, one of the things actually was a promotion. It picked up a promotion off the website that was like years gone by. I don't know how it got it, if it was like some schema or something that it crawled. I don't know where it got it from, but there was an extension that had technically expired on the back end, but was still enabled. So it had an expiration date and it expired. So no one could use it, but it was enabled. And for whatever reason, Meta was able to crawl it and started pushing out this promotion. So what we had is an ad that was like their summer sale, for instance, for argument's sake, was this promotion. It was like, use code X, Y, and Z. And I was like, they're two different things. And my client was like, why have you put this up? And I was like, I haven't. I had to go through all of the settings and like, it's buried deep and be like, do not use this. So that becomes really tricky. And then now you're seeing, you know, even products that are getting pushed out because Meta thinks, well, if some user might prefer this product, I'm like, but I don't want to do that campaign around that product, so stop pushing it. And that's becoming really difficult for me.
Do you have to use the AI as well?
It's very difficult not to use it.
Okay.
It's because when you're in the platform and you know, you're going through the ad setup, it's like, it'll automate your headlines. So you have to opt out of that. You have to opt out of all of these AI features. And every time I go in there, the settings like moved or it's changed. I'm like, where the hell's this? Like, you have to really, and it takes so long to set them up just to be able to try and strip back the help that it's giving, if almost.
Yeah, right. So you can't just strip it all back and then just run it normally.
You can, and then there'll be an update and then something will happen and you'll have to go in and be like, and it's normally what's more frustrating is the client seeing it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, why is this ad got this? And you're like, oh my God. And then you're in there and it'd be like this new feature that's come out that that Meta's testing. And you're like, it's infuriating.
Yeah, because you don't know what, like you said, you don't know what the headlines and the images are. So you don't know until someone's seen it.
Yeah.
Live.
Yeah. That's what I'm really finding struggling at the moment. And it can be the simplest thing, like you may have not have opted out of this thing and we had it actually with Social Pantry, where the CEO had seen an ad and the dimensions were wrong on it. And I was like, they're not though, because I've checked this. I literally was tearing my hair out because I was like, these are not wrong. The dimensions of the ad creators I've put up. So it turned out I had to turn off some ad placements that were showing it because I just couldn't. There was no setting. I was like, I can't literally figure out why it keeps doing this. But that's the issue we're running into. Really off tangent here.
No, it's all on tangent because this is like our experience of how AI is changing things.
Google, I don't think's as bad, to be honest. But Google is pushing for more automation in terms of audiences and things. They've had this whole thing of Performance Max, which is heavily AI driven. I have tested their broad AI. Haven't seen great results with that at the moment, again, but it limits the ability of you controlling things. And when you've got someone's money and you're trying to spend it, you want some of that control still. So it's kind of a bit of the unknown there, but I do think Google's not as bad. We are trialing, or they have been beta testing AI overviews now, which kind of defeats the purpose. And now AI overviews now going to become a SERP, and we're just going around in circles with that, I think. It's because that's going to be interesting. I'm interested to see how that will affect like organic AI overviews once we're allowed ads in there.
Yeah, same. That will be interesting.
I just feel like we're in this loop that AI overviews will become a SERP again, and then we'll have like top positions and zero position. And
it's weird, isn't it? It's like, it's also new, but sometimes it just feels like a bit of a repeat of what has been, like the scammy tactics. We're going to be seeing ads back. There's going to be S9 replacements again. I mean, I'm guessing that ads will go to the top like they used to be. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've been really negative. On a positive point, AI does allow you to be able to put more creatives and be able to do testing a little bit quicker. And we always know with paid media, like you can test stuff a lot quicker than you can organically. So on that aspect, It is great. It's just being able to ensure that you can lock it down to test it correctly. That's, I think, the biggest thing. And it's not about reaching masses of people. It's about reaching the right audience. And once you've got the right audience, you'll have good conversion data, which then you can push back into these platforms to allow them to learn a bit better. And that does, the longer you're doing ads, I do find your accounts just because you're feeding it the correct data. So as long as you're doing that and being very mindful and cautious of what you're testing and locking it down, AI can be really helpful with the ideation and kind of the creative side of it.
Yeah, and there's a time and a place for it, isn't there? Like there's a time and a place for a quick AI design or even AI content. Like I said, like if something's very like subjective and doesn't really need an opinion, fine, AI is there. But like if you really want to connect with someone and stand out, like I think like the summer fair poster is not the time, or the LinkedIn post is not the time, or the complex SEO blog that can really benefit from an anecdote or two. That's not the time for AI. It's just like using it when it makes sense. And to move quickly onto like a big positive for organic, conversions are way up from AI traffic, outstandingly up. Like it's amazing how targeted you can get with AI, how you can solve up such a specific problem, and AI can write it back like a human, presenting your brand as the solution to someone's very specific problem in a way that's like feels nice to them, and the way that AI is written back to them has been adjusted to like appeal to them basically, because that's what it has to do. And we're seeing this in our work like across the board, conversions for AI are generally up. But I looked into it because I wanted to come with some proper numbers about how AI conversion rate compares to organic. So this is for all of last year, January to December for our client. They had a 2.93% conversion rate on organic traffic and an 8.31% conversion rate on AI conversions all year. That is mega, isn't it? It's huge.
Yeah, absolutely. Was seeing it. I think you can measure it a little bit better than I can. I'm not really seeing
probably
the effects of it. I'm seeing less probably impressions and stuff, which isn't totally a bad thing. I understand why. But definitely any client that is organic, the AI stuff is insane. I was checking, again, Emily won't mind me saying this, but I was checking EMP's account, and I think just in April gone, their AI results, like the amount of people who've come to the website, has gone up like 150% or something from March.
I'm not surprised, Gwen.
And it's so good. Like AI has been amazing for these actually, AI overviews, because of the very technical questions that people are asking.
Exactly. It's comparison of features. I think like when I read at that stat earlier, it was for SaaS and technology, but I think they'd fall under it because it's like, I want to compare 3 different lasers, their features. Like you want to see a table with a tick, tick, tick of what each one does.
Yeah.
And that's what ChatGPT or Claude will give you.
Yeah. And we found that, and again, just looking at like, we've done a lot of work on like how people are interacting with the page. The heavy content needs to be there because it's a very technical item, but break it down into tables and things, but making it really easy for someone to just even scan, or AI just to scan, has been so beneficial for them. And you get really nitty gritty. Like I'm even looking at, like, I know you said about keywords and stuff, but we're even looking at doing like keywords that are kind of a really niche. And I spoke to them yesterday about it. And I said, look, I'm finding this keyword keeps coming up, but you guys haven't mentioned it. Like, is it relevant? And they were like, oh, actually, no, it is. Like that will be used in a term. I'm like, oh, okay. So then you sort of lead on to that. And then now we can write a really niche article for that specific keyword, because that specific keyword hits a specific industry as well. So that's kind of cool.
The difference, isn't it? Yeah. When I say keywords, they are. I still look at keywords, obviously. But like what you'll do, that's a perfect example, isn't it? Like it's going to support an industry, a problem or something, or an audience, then you 100% those are the ones to go for, big time. I've just like presented some good conversion rates for organic and AI. I just wanted to make sure that I do caveat the numbers of traffic. So obviously organic traffic brings in way more numbers. So the 2.93% of conversions were on like an audience size of like 17,000, whereas the AI conversion rate at 8.31% was an audience size of 565. So it's significantly higher conversion rate, but a much smaller audience. But bear in mind, for all I know, the AI kind of visibility could have hit 17,000 people, just that they weren't clicking through to the website. So it's like 560 people clicked through from AI, because that's all I can track. And of those 565 people, 47 people converted. But like, I think when you consider that, like, it's not going to be like, and not everyone's going to be using AI yet. Like, I know it is probably used a lot now. Like I've said before, even my dad uses Gemini now. But like, there's a lot of room for growth. It's growing year on year massively. Like to the point where I can't even put targets on it really, because just usage alone is going to increase the numbers year on year. And that's really hard for me to predict. But like, I don't think it's that, like, it feels like it's really far away when you think about those numbers, like 17,000 versus 565. But I was looking at the conversions and I was like, okay, so organic conversion rates have had like 1 point something conversions a day over a year, whereas AI conversion rates had like 1 point something like a week. They're like, it's not that far away, is it? Like, you've only got to get that 1 weekly conversion to like 7 a week, and then you're there. Like, it's really not far away. So yeah, incredible conversion rates. But like, again, you're not going to get the conversion rates like that if you're targeting prompts and keywords for the sake of getting prompts and keywords, right? That's where the strategy comes in, like audiences and niche audiences, which we have a whole podcast on from last month. You just got to know how to do it strategically, because just doing things for AI, for the sake of AI, visibility, won't get you the business outcomes.
I think you've just got to be like, I just see it as AI being just another tool to get audiences in, but you've still got to be really mindful about the content and the people that you're answering the question for. I think this is like, it's just still good SEO. It's just another area for someone to find you, right?
Yeah, which is so obvious to people like us and like lots of other really good marketers. But I think, yeah, I don't think everybody appreciates that. Like the opportunity of an 8.3.1% conversion rate off the back of SEO efforts really is amazing. So you should go and get it. But if you don't, it's not like AI is this new secret thing where you've got to get visibility and it's going to magically give you an 8.31% conversion rate. If you don't have the content available, that people will convert on once they've seen you in the AI, right? So yeah, so I guess that leads on nicely to like how we're adapting.
I just had a funny thing to say. I saw a new acronym, HEO.
What's that?
Hybrid Engine Optimization. And
Oh,
I thought, oh my God, I'm done. I'm out. Quitting my day job.
We just need to pick one. We just need to agree as an industry what we're going with.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, how I'm kind of using AI in practice. I think accounts now, Meta and Google specifically, I'm keeping them very kind of simple now. Before you could do a lot of tactics with broadening out campaigns and ad sets and ad groups and et cetera, I do find that keeping it more of a simpler structure is benefiting their bidding automations a little bit more. So, having said that, I'm still using fewer audiences and still being quite tactile in what we're targeting. I'm really not using broad keywords. I know there's a big thing at the moment for Google saying, oh, we've had such great experience with broad. I've tried it. It just brings in trash traffic and that affects my data, that affects my audiences, that affects my remarketing down the line. It affects conversions. So I'm not doing it. I've tested it. I'm not doing it at the moment. Trying to really limit where you allow AI to sort of run off with itself. So in Google, that is turning off asset optimization. You don't want them just scraping any old content on the site and just putting it into an ad. Same for images and the same for Meta as well. Making sure you're locking down, unless you're comfortable to test something. They've got some great features on there with AI, sort of adding labels and products, especially if you're in e-commerce. But if you're just locking it down, just being really mindful of that. And then the other things that we are doing though is if you're want to use AI, we are testing out using creatives. Kive, I'm really enjoying at the moment. Kive is bringing out some really good stuff for imagery. ChatGPT is just doing another release as well, which I'm just testing out what that looks like for creative. The prompt at the moment has to be really, really detailed, but what it's doing is it's allowing the like design teams and stuff a little bit more freedom. So there are things I think that just make sure you're just not letting it run away with you. I think is the biggest takeaway is just keep on being mindful about everything you're putting out. Is it good quality? Is it hitting your audience? Because later down the line, if it's not, it's just going to bite you in the arse.
Yeah. Makes total sense. It sounds like from what you were saying earlier, like maybe even like a weekly, not like an audit, but like a weekly check of like settings and stuff. It sounds like it's just going a bit A1. I guess it's just opting you in rather than, yes, it's opting you in and you've got to opt out of it if there's like updates and stuff. That's so naughty.
It is. I just saw, actually, I was looking at I was in a report yesterday for a mutual client and I was like, why have they had 50,000 conversions? Bearing in mind they hit about 50,000. I was like, what is going on? I checked the account. Google had added in some Google hosted conversions for like local engagements for it. And given the specific location of this place, you'll understand why, the client in London. And I was like, they've just added that in. And I was like, this was within like 4 days. It said 50,000 conversions. And I was like, oh my God. I've had to like strip it out. But they've just added that in. So again, I had to go in and remove it all. It's annoying because you don't necessarily look at ad account so often that I didn't pick it up until I was come to write the report because it happened like over the weekend, just gone. And I was like, oh my God, like that's insane.
That's incredibly frustrating because that's just being forced upon you, isn't it? And yeah, that would really irritate me. That it can be irritating, cancer AI for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So adaptation SEO. So For the most part, like I maintain that like geo or AI search is like an extension or a bit of a pivot of SEO, but I do think it's quite significant. A lot of this kind of stuff that we were doing before anyway, we've done for a while. Micro audiences, that's something Lee and I have been doing for quite a long time, but we definitely do more of it now, like because I want someone searching a specific problem to be an AI to be able to find us. So we're doing a lot of like landing page creation. And as we talk about it quite a lot, then that's shared between the two marketing tactics. So SEO use it, get organic, get AI, Lee can drive ads to it. We find that to be really effective. And that's effective from like a trackable revenue perspective, conversions, leads. It's strong. SEO and writing. So we talked about like how AI can be used for writing. You absolutely need to be adding human experience. Like the stats on the LinkedIn spoke for themselves, I think, and I do think that will be fairly transferable across like blog content or service page content. You need to be adding in your experience. You don't want to be blending in like everyone else. Like, do you know what? I do wonder, though, Lee, whether we notice things. I'd love to see like the world and the AI stuff through the lens of someone not in marketing, because we are very like attuned to it because we see it all the time. So like me and Stu walked past a fast foods place the other day, and it had classic AI posters, AI beef burgers on the side of the van. And we were both like, that's all AI generated. But I wonder if like my mum would see it AI in that.
I think it's funny because you see like, maybe a slightly older generation on Facebook will put up videos and I'm like, that is so clearly AI. That person's like hand is weird. And they're like, no, it's not. Or the other one I saw was AI in music now. So a friend of mine, Chris, who is older, she's 60 odd, and she was like, oh, Lee, I've got this amazing song I've been listening to. And she showed it me and I was like, oh, Chris, that's an AI. That's an AI song. She's like, no, it's not. And I was like, it is.
They don't quite notice the same, do they? But I do think like it's a matter of time, in my opinion, before people do start to notice, and when being individual can make you stand out.
But then I've seen some AI videos that I'm like, oh my God.
Oh no, same.
It is scary actually, because I'm like, wow. Like these pictures that came out of Hive, I looked at them and I thought, you wouldn't know. I don't think you could.
Or is it just going to get better? But then I suppose if it gets better and you don't notice it, then what does it matter? If it's good, if it can maintain being good, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, we will see. But anyway, I did definitely digress then. So yeah, using AI for content, sure. But then I think writing content in a way that AI can understand, and this gets discredited on LinkedIn all the time. I think it's really unfair. But the idea of like using these like semantic triples. So AI is very definitional about who you are, what you do, who for. So an example would be like SEO specialists are using this tool to do this job. So it's just laid out, plain and simple. Like AI can understand that, can then share it. So if an SEO specialist go and ask for a tool to solve a problem, somewhere on your website it's been very clear that your tool solves that problem, so the AI can include it in its answer and you can be mentioned. I just think that makes sense. It's a slight pivot. Like a good writer's going to do that anyway a little bit. But like as a writer, and I like to think I'm a good writer, I am thinking about how clear and definitional my writing is. So things like that, certainly. Schema and structured data, that's a tactic that's been used for years and years and years for SEO, of course, but it's getting a lot of more attention now. I personally, that's a good thing. I think if anything, AI has like had to sophisticate other SEO teams maybe. So like I think I suppose it has also created a load of grifters as well. But for those that are more conscientious, they've had to learn perhaps more advanced SEO tactics like the schema that may not have been used before. Because AI can crawl the schema, you see. So you've got, you're kind of like increasing your chances of getting citations because there's more content for the AI to pick from. Yeah, website rendering I've mentioned before in previous podcasts as well. And then, of course, adapting by tracking the new metrics. So I'm using air quotes for new metrics because we should have really been tracking things like revenue conversions anyway. But again, I think the SEO industry has had to sophisticate itself a little bit. And, we've got a podcast coming up next month about how SEO and PPC can work together. And for me, there's been like an age-old narrative like, oh, PPC gets all the budget and SEO gets none. And it's like, it's because you're not tracking revenue. Like marketing tactics that make money get investment, and SEO has not always done that. But now it has to do that because it has to kind of prove itself. And then, of course, AI metrics, AI visits, AI conversion separately from organic, in my opinion. So yeah, that's kind of everything. Like in a nutshell, this podcast was more efficient than I thought it was going to be. I thought we were going to be really rambling through this one. I think we've done quite well.
Yeah, it's always fun. I think it's a scary place at the moment, I think, especially I'm feeling it. I think I'd be interested to see in a year's time. I think there will be some pushback if, like you said, with Google, if, content out there is not great. I think there will be an algorithm update. That's because there was a Penguin. That was a big one. I think there's going to be something quite significant like that again coming soon, just with all the slop that's getting put out there. But we shall see. I'm excited to see what the future looks like. I'm nervous at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know whether we'll see some. I think there's always like call updates going up a few times a year, and they are always trying to reduce like spam content. So yeah, but like you can use AI to write content there. Like I don't want anyone to think that they're going to get. It's just like when you do it.
Yeah, you just got to be mindful of it.
Yeah, it's when you do it to manipulate search engines, basically. Like if it's not useful and you're doing it to try and manipulate search engines, expect to come back at some point.
Yeah.
But if you're creating, like, it doesn't matter if you put 100 pages on your website, if they're 100 good pages, fine. Just make sure that it is 100 good pages.
Yeah, absolutely. Zoe, I'm excited about the next episode because this is all about schema, what it is and how to use it. So you just mentioned about structured data and things. And I do think it's always been a thing, but it's more prevalent now. And I'm seeing so many people, even people who aren't marketers, going, I need schema on the website and stuff. But next episode, we're going to be talking about that. So yeah, thank you all for listening. Like I said, the next episode is going to be on schema, what it is and how to use it, which is going to be great for all marketers out there, not just SEO people. It's going to be great for PPC as well. Yeah, if you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to the Forank Marketing Podcast, follow us on LinkedIn and carry on the conversation over there. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the Forank Marketing Podcast. We'll be releasing a new episode every month, so don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review. We look forward to seeing you on the next one.